So 2 trips down the highway in 2 weeks and 2 pretty good results for you. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's been a fantastic result. The group we've got at the moment is the belief that group's got is incredible. And as a coach, it's what we coach for. We bring guys together from all over the place in Launceston, and to create what we've done in the last couple of weeks has been fantastic. And as I said, as a coach, it's a pretty proud moment to be a part of that.
How did you see the game unfold? Like, how did you get a hold of it?
Yeah, I think the first quarter, Clarence certainly controlled big parts of the game. We definitely had our hands on the footy bit. We just turned it over, and Clarence's pressure was pretty good in that first quarter. After quarter time, we just spoke about making sure we stick to the things we want to stick to, and that's not crumbling, and understanding that a tackle's just a tackle regardless, and they've been receiving tackles for 15 years of their life, so not to worry about it, and to understand it, to embrace it, work through it, and once they accepted that, they started hitting their kicks, and obviously some of the Clarence defenders started zoning off a little bit, and we were able to cut them apart through the middle of the ground and play our style of footy.
Seems like you have a bit of a finals team, like they're a team that plays good finals footy. Is that a fair comment?
Yeah, it's we're certainly playing good finals footy. It's a little bit different. I spoke to our guys before, and just about the season's an opportunity to create and develop players. So we copped some losses in the start of the year, and one big one really early and a couple of close ones. But we send our players out every week during the season to go out there and be the best version of themselves. That means that if they've got a deficiency, I don't want them to shy away from the deficiency. I actually want them to improve it. The only way to improve it is by actually doing it out there under a game scenario. So we turn balls over early in the year. We've switched kicks and all this sort of stuff, and now we've got a side that have actually worked through those weaknesses and things that they didn't believe they could do. Now they're doing it. They've had 6 months of games and football scenario training to be able to implement those skills in finals time, which is when it counts.
You must be really happy with the even spread of contributors across the park. I mean, only a couple of girls overriding, and Kelly Mansell with still keeping a really competitive score, obviously a winning score, and all through the midfield as well. A lot of guys chipped in. Yeah,
definitely. The last 2 weeks we've had a group of players that probably haven't had over 25 disposals a game, which in previous games we certainly did. We've also got our best team out there at the moment, where we've got 26 players to choose from. No one's carrying injuries, no one's in doubt during the week, so we're actually training guys to play and perform on game day. So in the last 2 weeks that's held us in a really good position to run out games and run over opposition.
You must be pleased with the development of your back six. I know sort of pretty unheralded defenders, a lot of first or second year guys, a lot of young guys. How did you see their games today?
Yeah, I think they're the best back seven with our bench rotation in the competition. And I think there's no, I said to our guys again, there's no names in the group, but there will be at the end of this year. Some of Vandervelt's 18. Jimmy Garner's come to us at the start of, or sort of halfway through pre-season as a ruckman, so we sent him back to play centre half back for the first time of his life, and he spent 6 weeks back there and really worked hard and was willing to learn and got his opportunity, and so we've created a centre half back. Chris Savage at 30 years of age has been super, a genuine skipper of a footy club, does all the hard work, does all the team stuff, and just continually backs up week after week, so he's been fantastic. Jack Donnellan is in fine form at the moment. His left foot, he's got a really good kick. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that group. At the start of the year, that was a group that was potentially leaking goals at time, but what they were doing every week was they were believing in themselves to go out there and follow through with something. It's very easy to make a mistake and then no longer want to make that mistake. That group of 6 or 7, continually week after week, were willing to make the mistakes so that they can improve. We've spoken to our group. There's no limitation on what someone can be, and as coaches, I certainly don't want to coach that way. I want to make sure all of our players can be the best version of themselves.
Is that a big year? Big Hamish Leadham was terrific today.
Yeah, he's been super the last 2 weeks. I thought Hamish over the first 10 weeks of the round, I thought he was in probably the top 2 ruckmen in the competition. He had a little bit of a flat patch mid-year, and we just took a little bit of time and lightened his load during the week. Obviously first full year as a TSL ruckman, so a little bit of management there through sort of round 16, 17 and 18, and we're seeing the benefit of that now through the finals.
Having the Mercury Cup team also going so well at the moment must kind of put pressure on spots in the team. Do you think that healthy competition is really just bolstering the with the atmosphere in the club?
Yeah, without a doubt. Again, we've got two teams. One's gone straight through to a grand final in the Mercury Cup, and we've got one in the top 3 positions. So our list is very healthy. We've got 5 players that were Mariners, top age Mariners this year. We've got another 5 that are another 6, sorry, in the state under 17 program. We've got another 5 in the under 16 program under that. So there's 15 or 16 players through a state program that the football club's developing. So yeah, it's tough as a coach, but that's what we create environments to continually make individuals better.
Was it a step up in intensity this week compared to the final last week? And what are you expecting next week? Whether you face off between which Bombers side you face off against?
Yeah, that first quarter was definitely hot. There's no doubt about that. Again, I said it last week. I really believe that most of the competition's really similar. They've got different strengths, but the level of the game out there today is the same level I expect next week. It's not going to jump by 20% or 15%, so maybe 2 to 3%. Maybe a slight increase the further you go through, but I don't think it's going to be a massive change. So I think our group can adapt to that slight change pretty quickly.
And, sorry, you speak about how confident the group is. How confident are you heading into face either North Launceston or Lauderdale?
Yeah, right from the start, we believe we can win. We've got to do a lot right, but at the moment we've got a clear message with our group, and I think we're starting to get some respect externally that the Launceston Football Club is a side of, or a team of players that can really produce.
Too easy. Well done.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, mate. Well, Jez, it was a fast start, and then sort of after there, it sort of fell apart a little bit.
Yeah, I thought our start was really good. We were able to put pressure on the ball carrier, and we were able to close their release option down, which meant that we played the game in our half. I thought after probably the quarter time, our ability to close down that short 45 kick and also their handball chain was quite poor. So, look, disappointing day at the office. Look, we need to learn from that. I think as a society, sometimes we tend to look at, things that we need to improve on. We need to do that, but we also need to look at, well, how far have we come? So we've come from 7th to 4th. I think we've got a fantastic development team, chock full of talent. We've unearthed some guys this year that are going to be some serious TSL players. We've got a core group that are 28 and 29, so they've got another 2 or 3 years to go. We lose Ian Callan today to retirement, but other than that, the group's going to stick together. So we need to make sure that we focus on what we've actually done well this year. Yeah, we need to make some improvements, but our game plan's solid. We know that. We've got some versatility in our group. And I think that the players have brought into what we're trying to do and the culture that we're trying to create. So there's some big steps forward there. Obviously extremely disappointing end of the season, but we need to be disappointed, but we need to move on. Yep.
Did you peak too early, you think?
Yeah, I think so. We probably thought that day one of pre-season, we thought our group was actually a fair way behind the mark in terms of fitness. So to be honest with you, a lot of them would have done their biggest pre-season they've ever done. So look, I think probably after the double bye, I think we beat North Launceston out here. We only lost 1 game by a point. I actually thought we're well on the way. Now look, after that we probably started to cop some injuries to key personnel, and we actually lost them for a lot of time. So I think as a club we probably thought we were in a phase where we're pushing for a premiership. So we're just trying to win games, but we lost a bit of our versatility and flexibility. And I thought that was evident today, and it probably has been the last couple of weeks that injuries probably affected us. Jackson O'Brien shoulder, Jake Cox gets injured in the first quarter today, myself calf, Keegan Wiley concussion, Jason Bailey ankle, Callan missed some chunks. So we probably just didn't quite get up and going late in the last 8 to 12 weeks. And I reckon some of our younger guys started to get tired because they had a really hard pre-season. So, but moving forward, looking at the positives, next year we're not going to have to work them as hard. We can time it so that we're peaking now rather than at the start of the year.
Going with that as well, do you think those couple of games just on the verge of finals, you knew basically what you were going to have to do in finals football?
Yep.
But you could almost end up dead rubber games leading in.
Yeah, no, I actually thought they were beneficial for us. I thought we probably, Glenorchy was okay. I thought our press against Glenorchy was okay. It started to get some improvement. I thought our offence was pretty poor. I thought Lauderdale, our first loss to Lauderdale, was actually quite positive last week. I thought we played some pretty good footy. We probably let the ball over the back a couple of times. We didn't convert, but I thought we were on the right track. Today, it probably just that long year injuries probably started to catch up with us today. Yeah.
Do you think that lack of versatility, which you touched on, you became a bit predictable to other teams?
Yeah, and I think that was our real strength at the start of the year, that everyone was going everywhere. Now look, when you lose key personnel and then all they're injured and they haven't been able to train and they're not quite as fit and can't go through as many positions, then you lose that versatility. But I think if you asked any opposition coach at the start of the year, extremely hard to play on because guys were going through a number of positions. I remember Ace commenting on a number of times they have high midfield rotation. In the last 4 weeks, we've probably had 4 or 5 guys go through the midfield. Just because some of our key personnel that go through, they haven't been able to because their bodies haven't held out. So is that something that's unlucky? Yeah, maybe. But we also have to look at maybe we did push them too hard too early. But we have got a good foundation. We're pretty excited about what we've got next year.
Obviously, you had a few players go down today or come in a bit underdone. Another sort of group of players probably were performed not as great as you would have hoped. Who were you proud of today?
Oh, I thought Tim Castle won 50 games was pretty good. Had some really good one-on-one wins. I thought Jack Gleeson's game was outstanding. He's just the heart and soul of the club, really. The senior team, just his attack on the ball and on the man, he's just first rate. Obviously, he's got the suspensions hanging over his head, but he's a quality player and one we've really missed for the whole year, to tell you the honest truth. I thought Jason Bailey was pretty good today. We threw him into the ruck and he was okay. He took some really good marks down back. So they were probably the 3 guys that I thought were good. Gabby Chambers battled away. But yeah, it just didn't quite go our way today, which is unfortunate. Full credit to Launceston. They played some fantastic footy. They're in extremely good form. They've got some good running power. Their inside mids are fantastic. They're hard at the ball. Dangerous forwards. Their back line's holding up. So for whoever they play next week, I'm not too sure who that is at the moment, but they're going to give some teams trouble. I think next year Launceston are going to be a real powerhouse. So I'd be excited if I was Sammy Lonergan.
Did they take you by surprise at all today, the Blues?
No, not really. When we watched the tape, and we've watched the last couple of tapes, last few weeks, they're starting to get their game up and going. I don't think they're probably not as versatile as probably North Launceston or Lauderdale. They don't throw their magnets around as much, but they get the job done. So their on-ballers are strong. They're in contested ball. Actually was surprised at how well they shaped the ball away from stoppage today. And I think they're starting to understand how Sammy wants them to play, and they're playing a good style of game that holds up in finals, which is the most exciting thing. So look, I'd give them a fair crack next week. I wouldn't like to be playing them, that's for sure.
So the final game today of one of the best Tasmanian footballers of the era. Can you speak about the influence that Ian's had?
Yeah, well, I think that people look at, Ian's, the year this year and they say maybe he's been a little bit disappointing, but then just look at his career. Like he's been an outstanding player. I think I wrote it down and mentioned to the players. Look, I think he's a 4-time SANFL premiership player. He won a BNF in the his best player in the grand final. He played 32 AFL games. He won a listed medal, VFL Best and Fairest. He played an All-Australian under-18s team. He was the under-18s Best and Fairest for the league as well. So he's had a pretty outstanding career, and one where he's just persisted with his career. I don't think he got drafted till he was 27. 28, and he's dominated everywhere he's gone. So although maybe he hasn't hit his straps this year, he's 34 years of age, so he's had an outstanding career. I think the best thing for when I took over is that his relationships with the players is fantastic. He's always at training, he's there every night, he gets around the young guys, he's really brought into the Clarence brand and what we're trying to do. So look, he'll be sorely missed. We've learned a lot from him. He's been a great servant over the last 2 years, so I wish him all the best for his future with his children and what lies ahead for him.
Cheers.